Hi guys, Borgio here, back with another commentary for an advanced solo dungeon within Tears of Veeshan, this time for the Hive. The first things you might notice actually is you say, Borg, what's going on with your screen? It's actually wide. Yes, after making the last video I decided enough was enough. I went out and got myself a widescreen monitor finally, so I can render things in decent resolution. The Hive I find is probably the easiest advanced solo out of all of them. But that's purely preference, you know. I find it easy because I can AoE pull everything. I was just checking a bunch of settings here. I realised I think I wasn't dual wielding, so I needed to swap my weapon back in, which I'm going to do now. There we go, that's that back on. Excuse me a second. Right. So, the Hive, it's fairly linear. There's only one way to go. As you round that corner, there's a bunch of aggro mobs in the middle near a pool. You can see the pool in the background through the hole. Basically, you don't want to fight too close to it because that happens. Pull them in here, and if you can, AoE them down. There's only a couple. One main thing to note is try and hit. There's some blobs. There's some yellow blobs in like the honey nectar there. I've just hit some there. You see them moving. Make sure you hit them because they form the first boss. If you don't hit them, the boss won't form. You'll just sit there forever. So let them all run around. There's no point. I don't find any point in killing them. I don't know if it makes him form slower, faster, with less health, whatever. I just let them go. And up this ramp is where the boss will form. Boss is fairly straightforward. There is a small mechanic, especially if you're going in as, say, a solo healer, or possibly, well, say solo healers. Healers can put out good damage. Maybe the lower end of the healer DPS charts, the Templars of this world, you'll need to do the strat properly. I actually do show you the strat here. What happens is you pull him. As you're fighting him, he will knock off blobs of this honey. The honey will start to come back towards him, and if it reaches him, it will heal him up. So you basically need to switch target and kill the honey. So here's the pull. So there's a nice red message when he's knocked some honey loose. So you just look out for that, and then spin your camera and try and find out where it's coming from. There's the message. So I'm having a quick look. I think it's actually behind me. It's those two bits there. They don't have names, so it's easier to spot. I'm just showing here. I'm going to let this reach him. Watch his health. He healed up because it reached him. So the more you do that, the longer it takes. You can see one spawned on the left there. I just try and AoE this completely, but figure out I probably need to swap to it. I realise now, looking back on it, I was actually in my tank spec from our raid the previous night, so my DPS is actually a lot lower than it would be normally. So this is full tank spec, Berserker, dual wielding. So you can tell I'm in tank spec as I've got perfect counter on the bar, if you know anything about warriors. And I don't have partisan cleave, which is my favourite AoE. But it takes a little bit longer as a tank, but it's still perfectly doable solo. Just continue knocking his honey down, and then burning him. Sorry about the sound, I realise I didn't record the sound as well, so you've got no in-game sounds whatsoever, but generally I'm talking over the top of it anyway. And he's down. The blobs still come in, you don't need to do anything with them, they just sort of stop moving and go, oh, there's nothing to heal. Right, as you come out, avoid the middle room again, the aggro mobs are still there, just run round to the left. When you get to this part, run the same way you came in, otherwise you've got another mob to deal with, but it's only a single white, so who cares? And as you reach this point, hang a left. The next boss is at the top of a ramp, through here. His main mechanic is he'll summon and add. The frog guys in these rooms will add on the adds. You can't hit them. You can't hit the frogs, but the frogs can hit the adds, and you can hit the adds. So just pull him, start burning. That's it. This boss does nothing else remotely exciting, and it's exactly the same strat on heroic. He doesn't do anything else. The adds he summons tend to like to heal themselves. In fact, I think that will be demonstrated on this Noxious Swarm Tender that's next to him right now. It will heal himself. It will heal up. He says, while it's actually really low on health. Yeah, it died. I'm sure I had one that healed. Maybe that was another pull, another day. Never mind. Oh, there we go. There's another one now. You'll see this heal up towards the end. Once I've killed the boss, I will then attack the ad. And he will heal himself. What you can do is you can drag the Swarm Tender around to the frog. See, I target the frog there, but it doesn't do much good. Can't attack them. There we go. He's healing up. So you can drag him around the other frogs, and the frogs will assist you. Yeah. Be careful on this part. There's a bunch of packs in this room. I'm doing the quick method of just jump to the bottom and then AoE them all down. If you're squishy or not an AoE class, obviously take your time, kill the packs. but I was doing this for speed, because you don't need to see trash, you need to see the bosses to know what the bosses do. They're the more difficult point. As you come through this water, you're basically heading to the right and up the ramp past all these packs. Again, I'm going to train every single thing to the top, but it gives you a guide of seeing what's on this ramp, which you then need to kill. Not having partisan is a big issue for me training, because it means that things are on me for a lot longer. Not that it matters. I mean, they're not hitting that hard. They're hitting me on my plate for 8k, 9k, but I'm self-healing most of it. So just be aware. When you reach the top, burn them all at the top of the ramp. You're going to see lots and lots of numbers. If you're an AoE class, you should be lots of fun. Blue AoEs, obviously, but otherwise, kill them as you're coming up. And there we go, I get my loyalty tokens for the day. I basically did this dungeon early in the morning, I think. I can't actually remember what time I did this. It was very early in the morning, actually. Oh no, hang on, I did it at 10 to 3 in the afternoon, so go me. Apparently I hadn't been playing much that day. I think this was the first thing I did. I logged on to record this. The next boss is just around... It's on this top level. There are a bunch of packs to our right now. If you look, you can see them moving around. You don't really need to clear them. Some people will say, oh, you need to clear them to kite the boss down there, but my personal view is just kite the boss... If you need to kite him that far, kite him down the ramp where you've just run up. You've just cleared everything. So there's no point clearing extra trash if you don't need to. Right, this boss is just there in front of us. He comes with a bear ad. The basics of the fight is you pull him, the bear stays where he is. He eventually will call the bear to attack you. Once he does that, the bear he'll say, come and attack my pet, or whatever he says. You'll see the text in a minute. The bear will rear up on its hind legs and start charging. It will charge you. If it reaches you, it does mass damage and knocks you back. I think it does mass damage, because I do let him hit me here, but I'm self-healing enough that I don't really see it come in. Here he comes. Run the intruder down, my pet. So you see the bear roar up. It comes charging forward, and it charges to where you were. So it will just stop there now. I believe I give it another one, so at least you can see the sort of damage he does and the little knockback. On Heroic, there's two bears, and it'll put a red ring around the feet of the person it's charging. So you just need to move away from the red ring. Once you move, here we go. I'm going to let him hit me now. Look. So it's a little kickback. It's not really significant damage. In fact, I'm just going to stand here and tank it now. But it's just to, it's to get you ready for the mechanic on Heroic. Once the main name dies, the bear is docile. It just stops. There is a slight bug, as if he's charging as it goes docile, he'll stay with his knockback. And on Heroic, when you're trying to loot the chest, he might be knocking you back while you're trying to loot. Very, very weird. This is the final little section of trash coming up. If you turn to the right, you attack these, you'll get a red message. Eventually. Here we go. You hear a loud buzzing emanate from the tunnel behind you. There's basically some ambushes that are going to come down from the ceiling. There they are there, some Queensguard lurkers. They're going to add. There's two sets of these. There's a set here, and it's just around the corner, which I actually demonstrate where they are and where they come from. My personal way of doing this particular part of the dungeon is, again, training from that last boss all the way through to the next one. But I did this to demonstrate. If you look up, here they come, and you just kill them here. Now, as for difficulty of bosses in the solo, I would say the next boss is probably the most difficult, but you've got to remember the difficulty of this dungeon is like 1 out of 10 to me personally. That's what I find. Right, this next boss is triggered as you move up into this room. There's a sort of a portal in the middle. It's going to summon waves of ads, and then the final boss will eventually spawn after, I think it's 3 sets. It starts off with two of the robots from the Nexus, which do the pew pew laser. So if you've seen my Nexus video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't let them laser on this. You can burn them really quickly. I start here in AoE. Here they are, pew pew laser mobs. One's dead. Next one's dead. The next thing he was about to do is laser as well. The next one he summons are Waterlords. These don't do anything at all. They just die. They fall over. Same with the third mob that spawns now, which is like a Mattel something, I think his name is. Oh no, there he is. I'm thinking of a different boss completely. This guy on Heroic does some interesting stuff, but I'll cover that in my Heroic video when I do it. For now, just burn him. Right, the Rock. This is the main boss. What you need to remember about this is, it is a DPS race, but the faster you go, the more prone to failure you can have. What you do, every 10% you'll get this message. He drops an egg on the floor. The egg cannot be targeted, but after a few seconds, it explodes. If you are caught in the explosion, you are stunned. So therefore, if you're doing too much damage, you'll get caught in the egg explosion, stunned, and there might be another egg down instantly. So basically, watch the percentages. Every 10, just move around to a different side of the room. Like this. This is what I generally do. So I'm watching it now. He's going to hit 60. You may not get the message. There's the message, so I'll move around. But I've hit him again. He's on 56. So you can see you can actually burn him really quickly. There you go. He's hit 50 on the corner now. So if you're super fast, you might end up getting stacking eggs and blow yourself up. So just be aware of the eggs. A lot of people think the eggs are random. It's not. It's every 10%. My experimentation in this dungeon, I run it that often, I know exactly when they're dropping them. Why do I run this dungeon so often? I want the bloody purple runes that never drop. I end up buying them on raids for DKP. That's what DKP's for me. Nearly there, so he's going to do 2 more eggs. I will stand in 1 egg right at the end after he's dead, just to demonstrate what it does. Here we go, I burn him down, I'm just going to stand here. So if you look, I take 155k damage and it's a stun. So yeah, it only hits once, but you think that hit me for like 25%, well, even more than that, 35% of my health. If you get multiples of those stacked up, you're going to have a bad time. Final room, through here. Again, I'll train all this trash, because that's just the way I roll on my Berserker. Run up to the right, there's a ramp, and I generally run all the trash to the bottom of this sort of like honeycomb-looking structure. Just to here, there is a pack that patrols on this structure, which I was hoping to pull as well, but I don't think I did. I managed to get them on the ramp themselves when I was walking up. Last boss has some fun mechanics, which we'll go through when we get up there. More painful on heroic, obviously, but it's the same sort of deal. Depending on how high your graphics is, depends whether you'll be able to see some of the stuff. I'm not sure if on the lower graphics you'll be able to see one of the mechanics of the boss, but we'll see. Let me know if you can't. If you can't, unfortunately you'll need to either turn them up or just be adept at spotting detrimentals, let's put it that way. Right, the boss is located in top of the flower. It's above us now. I'm trying to find it. There she is, there on the left, look. Once you kill these 4 royal guards, not loyal guards, they're probably loyal, she'll become active and she'll fly down. So blow them up. Don't worry about extra ads and stuff. These giant bees will keep spawning, you can't kill them off. Right, her mechanics, she does 2 things. First of all, she'll put a waxy prison around somebody, who that person can't do anything except for attack it. So on solo, it's going to be you, because it always is. I believe she does it here. Right, so I'm in a prison, a wax prison. You just DPS it down. That's what it looks like. So it's down. Even though it's down, keep going because it's technically not. There we go. And then you go back on her. Her other mechanic, you would have just seen off to the right there, she summons little bits of honey on the ground. There's a bit next to me now. If you stand in the honey on solo, I think you just, you take 31k damage, well I do, and you get a slow walking speed buff. I walk in it again just to demonstrate. So just move out of it whenever you get in that. On heroic, it hurts really badly. It ticks so much harder, and she summons loads of them. You see they're going all over the platform here. On heroic, they don't seem to end. She summons so many of them, and she can put you in a prison and honey you at the same time, so you see me walking out of it sideways. The last mechanic she does is a throw in the air. She will just pick you up and throw you down. It is a slight knock backwards, on heroic at least it is, so just be aware you might need to run forwards. If she throws you off the platform and you hit the ground, you'll die. It also was a case if she throws you off the platform, if you tank it down the bottom, and she throws you off the platform, you'll die. She's dead anyway. The loot for this one was forearms, cryptic forearms, so good luck getting those guys. Apart from that, good luck on your runs. I'll be back with another guide some other time, hopefully soon.